Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well today. For those of you that may not know me, I am the Garden Goddess, and this is Planting Seeds. And planting seeds is about really planting in and honing in on the knowledge of plant spirits for both beginners and novice practitioners. Whether you're religious or whether you're spiritual, planting seeds can benefit you in learning about herbal medicine and how you can incorporate it into your spiritual practice. And so today, I wanted to talk to you all about an herb, what I like to call the herb of liberation. But before we get into it, I want to make an honorable mention what I am consuming today, especially during these times where things can kind of get hectic, things can kind of get stressful. The holidays are coming. I need to get into my body so I can figure out what to do. And so today I am drinking a tea called Rooted, which helps with anxiety and bringing you back into your body. You can get that at larsonapothecary.com. And so to hop right in, I have been, and I'm sure you have been, paying attention to what is going on online, whether it comes to religious belief systems being shown to the mainstream media, whether it's political dogma, political chaos going on during this time. So many people are trying to figure out how to get through these times. Gas is high, girl. Like, oh my gosh, why is gas almost $7 or sometimes is $7 in California? Help. Like, so during these times, so many of us are trying to find a way to just make it through. But what I want to incorporate within the collective is finding ways to liberate yourself during these times, to not fold during these stressful times, to not bend just because, and not even break. Bend, but don't break. I mean, don't even bend if you can't. Try to stay firm in who you are. And I think the herb that I'm going to be discussing today will help people not only be able to stay within themselves and stay true to who they are during this time, but find ways to be free even in the midst of the chaos. And so the herb that I want to talk to you all about today that I feel like will be able to support you is juniper. Now, juniper is not a common herb that I see a lot of folks utilize within their practice, but I think it is one that can be incorporated with ease because it's easily accessible. And it's a great herb if you're someone that doesn't like a whole bunch of smoke in their house when they're burning incense. So let's jump right in. Now, juniper originated from the northern hemisphere of the world and is commonly popular within Central Europe as well as Scotland. Now, when we look at the medicinal value or the medicinal components of juniper, then we'll observe and witness that juniper is an antiseptic, it's a diuretic. It helps with your gas and your bloating. It helps reduce inflammation, and it also stimulates the uterus. So when we think about juniper and its common uses throughout time, one, juniper has been helped to stimulate the uterus for women, especially when women were trying to induce themselves for labor. It's been found to not be helpful in that way because it's a cleansing herb. It's really there to get everything out, and that's not necessarily safe when trying to give birth. Maybe if you're just trying to have your cycle. But we've also found that juniper is really used within alcohol and meats because it adds a woody, sweet, pine like flavor, which is really good to consume. But when we translate it into how we can use it spiritually and the medicine that we can create with it spiritually, then we can utilize its medicinal components for its magical components. If we know that juniper is a cleansing and a clearing herb, and it's meant to really get everything out. When we're going through stressful times, incorporating juniper within our spiritual baths, within our head washes, within our holy waters or Florida waters, we're able to clear out our auras and we're able to clear out our systems of iniquity and clear out our systems of thought forms that really don't belong to us. And a common thing that happens when we're online constantly and when we're consuming media constantly is, although we may be stressed about our lives, just our personal lives, we can become even more stressed by taking on the belief systems and the thought forms, and more so the energy of other people. And that can just turn us into a ball of stress, a ball of anxiety, and a ball of worry. And a common thing that happens, whether you're someone that's spiritually sensitive or just someone that is a human being that is online, in taking on other people's energy subconsciously, we start to not be able to differentiate what is ours and what is someone else's. And that's because we just don't have good boundaries, and we lack the ability to turn it off, to turn off our ability to not tune into what other people are doing. So I love utilizing Juniper within this, because Juniper's goal, as you start to really research it more and more and utilize it within your practice, the herb reveals itself to be one that believes in mind-body connection and bringing you back to a centered place and really revealing to yourself the most raw version of yourself, which is the more primal version of who you are. When you don't have money, when you don't have clothes, when you're not subscribed to what will be considered the matrix way of living, all you can view is yourself. And so I love incorporating Juniper within this because it has this really subtle property within it to remove blockages and remove false senses of self, and remove the fog and the mirrors of games that can be played that can blind you from seeing your authentic truth. Now, I started to work with Juniper probably over the summer, and I utilize it, not necessarily, I don't ingest it, but I like to utilize Juniper in the form of incense. And I found that as I burned it, one, the great thing about it was it doesn't give off a heavy smoke. And I know some people love when they're burning incense, they love like the smokiness and like it's really cleaning. Like, but for some of us that got asthma, okay, like me, we don't need a lot of smoke. And so I love that naturally when you burn juniper, it doesn't give off a heavy smoke, but it's extremely aromatic. And so the scent lasts within the space that you utilize it in. And so that's great, because the whole goal when we're utilizing herbs is to be able to incorporate their presence and their essence and their wisdom within our day-to-day lives. And so if you're someone that doesn't care for a lot of smoke, burning juniper is a great way to clear your space out and not have to deal with the ramifications of smoke being all over your house or your apartment or your bedroom. Now, I started to utilize juniper during the summertime as I was going through my own liberation process. I had quit my job that I had been at for years and years and years. I had ended some relationships that just didn't feel like it was aligned anymore. And this herb showed up for me to teach me about what it means to be liberated. And so what I've learned from juniper and what I've learned, I still continue to learn about juniper, is liberation comes in the form of being your authentic self. And it sounds easy to be your authentic self, but the truth is, to be more authentic sometimes means to go up against what the majority believes in. And so when we are online, and here's an exercise I actually want you all to do. When you're online, I want you to incorporate juniper by either burning it through the incense or drinking it. And when you're online and you're listening to these YouTube videos or listening to these podcasts, or you're even watching people post, I want you to ask yourself these questions of, do I agree with that? Is that my true belief? Do I truly understand where they're coming from? Is that something that aligns with who I am? Or do I feel like I have to agree because this post has 1,000 likes? And we can often see that, and I have often experienced that, where you post something and then you see like there's a hella people that have a completely opposite viewpoint. And so you're like, well, let me go delete that because I don't want to get canceled. So many of us make decisions based off of the desire of not wanting to be canceled. But you can't be canceled by the divine. You can't be canceled from your purpose. And that is the most important thing for your life and for your destiny. And so, ways that I love to utilize Juniper that I highly encourage you all to try out is when you're working on your heart chakra, it helps reveal authentic truths. When you're honoring what brings you joy, when you're being in your truth, or you're actually operating in your most truest self, Juniper assists with that. When you're trying to expand, when you're trying to expand who you are and become a bigger or a more refined channel. So if you're someone that likes to divine, if you're someone that makes content online, Juniper assists greatly with that. If you're someone that really is on a journey of liberation, of freeing yourself from old paradigms, old belief systems, old ways of being, old habits, it helps to assist with that. If you're someone that really wants to get into the most authentic version of yourself, which is often the most primal version of yourself, Juniper assists with that. And if you want to really just purify your space, if you're someone that is often having people come over your house, or if you just need to refresh the space, Juniper assists greatly with that. And if you're someone that just wants to get grounded back into self instead of getting caught up in the mayhem of this world, Juniper assists with that. And so I hope this video was helpful to you all and provided a lot of information for you. If you utilize Juniper within your practice, please leave a comment down below and let me know how it works for you. And if you like what you've heard and you want to see more, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/The Garden Goddess, where I post weekly. I do energy forecasts. I do personal magical videos on there. I do their own planting seeds series in Patreon. I post my magical recipes. Patreon is lit, girl or guy. Patreon is so fun for me, and I hope that you all join the community and share these recipes and really enjoy them. And so I hope to see you all in my next video. Hopefully it'll be very soon, and I will talk to you all later. All right, bye-bye now.